Welcome back. This is Tim Thiessen with Tim Thiessen Live. The previous segment, you'll notice a different shirt I was wearing and a little less gray hair. That's because we taped that about a month ago because Mr. Rosales couldn't make it into town. Anyway, my next guest is Manuel Cunha from the Nisei Farmers League. Manuel, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in today. I do want to make a quick disclaimer here to my liberal friends, and I do have liberal friends, and my wayward Republican friends, that what we're talking about today may set your hair on fire, and you may find it a little hard to breathe through part of this. But there's some real serious stuff going on with the government coming against the ag community, and we really want to get the word out. So, Manuel, why don't you tell us? A lot of folks don't know who the Nisei Farmers League is, so kind of give us a little bit of an overview on that, and then we're going to launch into some issues.
Great. Well, the Nisei Farmers League is basically an organization that's in the San Joaquin Valley, but throughout the state, that represents the farmers and the farm employees. And that group does everything from transportation, housing, land use, the Williamson Act, estate taxes, environmental issues, water issues, even unionization, and also concerned about agriculture survival in this state, and especially in this basin where many of my organization members are in their 70s and 80s and even 90. This last Saturday we celebrated the outstanding agriculturalist who's 93 years old.
Wow.
Still farming as of 3 weeks ago.
Wow. So
the group really works with all the issues concerned to its farmers.
Well, that's great, and we have a lot of advocacy groups, and one of your board members, Daniel Jackson, was on here a couple of weeks ago,
right.
And so this is really a grassroots deal, and our family farms are coming under a lot of pressure. And a couple of things we want to talk about before we get to the big hot button today is. Let's talk about the E-Verify program and what's going on there as far as our employees, as far as immigration status goes.
Okay, well, right now, the E-Verification that the Congress adopted some 15 years ago, the E-Verification after Homeland Security was developed after 9/11 of '01, when that actually happened, all of that. Homeland Security developed a program where all employers have to go in and sign in and register your employees and your business and everything in a voluntary basis. And the program over the past 8-9 years has caused or has a lot of problems with it. And the biggest area is for agriculture. It's not designed for agriculture at all. It's for an employer that is full-time in the essence, okay, and has a workforce that pretty much is there every day. Compared to agriculture, very seasonal, very cyclical, up and down, and based upon weather conditions and all that. So what we hear now is Congressman Lamar Smith out of Texas is proposing to move, he is the chairman of the Judiciary Committee on the House side, to move forward with E-Verification, mandatory E-Verification for all employers, including agriculture, which will be devastation. And the basis is so that he has a real problem with immigrants in the sense, and being that Congress has failed for 20 years to deal with immigration reform, in our industry we have employees that have documentation problems, but we follow the law on having a worker fill out an I-9, just like anybody else does. Even when you came to work here, you filled out an I-9.
Absolutely.
And so when you take all that information and you try to put it in the E-Verify system, it doesn't work. It has all these problems and computerized and everything, and it's very difficult to go to the field with a computer and try to register 400 workers on the spot. It just can't be done.
Well, absolutely, and that's one of the problems always when we get a really hyperactive bureaucracy going, is it can't respond.
Exactly.
If any of you question that, just rather than mail in your DMV renewal next time, walk it through. Just pick an office, and you're going to find out what a joy the government is. And farming, we are constantly between pesticide regulation, because we still produce the best and the safest food in the world anywhere, bar none.
Yes.
But just loaded down with paperwork, and the systems just can't respond to. We have very, very special needs here in California and the Valley especially. The next one is SB 104 went sailing through the state Senate. That deals with card check.
Yes.
On party line votes, and so those of you that voted for it know who you are. We have quite a few listeners in Sacramento. So
Yes.
Anyway, and that's going over like a lead duck in this part of the country right now. Manuel, tell our audience a little bit about what's involved in the card check, the whole program of the card check, and then we've got legislation that's pushing that through.
Right now, what is going on in the legislature for both houses of the Senate and the Assembly passing it, but basically card check, what it does, it takes away the right of a individual to a secret ballot. It just takes that away and allows the union representative to go to that person's house and they check the boxes and you just sign it. Not to say that we don't have people that are referred to, but to me, you're taking away the most valuable right of a person in this country, and that's the right to a secret ballot. Your own ballot in the booth, and you vote for it, okay?
Well, absolutely, and whether we're voting in a general election for a elected official or unionization. I mean, the unions originally came into existence to fight the monopolies.
Yes.
And, but things change, and now the unions have become the monster that they were designed to fight against.
Exactly.
for the workers, and these union votes. And by the way, we talked about this, Manuel. Senator Steinberg was couching this. We wanted to vote in commemoration of Cesar Chavez's birthday, which is fine. But what he failed to mention, once again, my friends, is the fact that Cesar Chavez was against card check. The focus of his trying to organize labor in California was that he wanted the secret ballot.
Absolutely.
So it is not what you think it is by any stretch of the imagination. So anyway, so that's what's going on there, and that's going to, this thing is going to flow over into other businesses besides.
If the governor signs it, it will impact not just agriculture. It will take away to where eventually you have thugs, and let's use that word carefully, going to people's homes and saying you will vote this way, and that's the way it is. You have no choice.
Right, with absolutely no choice.
No choice.
And so now we're in for a real treat, Manuel. We need to talk about this high-speed rail, and I'm going to be really careful with my adjectives. This is a family show, and I'm going to try to keep myself under control, and you promised me you would behave too. But this is very passionate, but we're hearing one slant from the major media all the time in California and Fresno and the Valley. What's your position on, and Nisei Farmers League, which is the same as mine too, is on this this whole notion of this high-speed rail?
Right now, I am so disappointed in the process that the High-Speed Rail Authority and its board in the past that didn't allow communications with industries and businesses and cities. They did everything behind the closed-door system. Number two, they do not concern themselves with the economics of this state. And number three is that they believe that the federal government is going to fund this thing, which at the end of the day, the taxpayers of this state are going to fund another huge monster that we can't even afford. And the way that they're handling the high-speed rail now is that the High-Speed Rail Authority wants to go through farmland because that's the cheapest and the most easiest routes to go. So when they leave out of Fresno, I'm really amazed that some of the Fresno folks and our elected officials have not concerned themselves, even in their own county. When it leaves out of Fresno City, it starts to approach and heads to the east of farmland on the east side of Layton. And from those points on, it's in farmland all the way past Corcoran. So we are just devastating farmland, creating a brand new corridor, what I believe the taxpayers of this state voted on, is to go down an existing corridor, and when you have to veer, fine. But in this case, the High-Speed Rail Authority is just taking the point of that, we're going to take farmland. If you don't like it, we'll use eminent domain on you. The richest farmland in the world, a tremendous amount of jobs will be lost. The impact to the communities from fire, safety, and all those things will be impacted. But, Tim, we don't have the economics. We're either going to build a high-speed rail or we're going to build a water structure.
Right now, the people of this state deserve a water structure. The people in Los Angeles, we have to have water. We have to have water for food. We have to have water for our rural communities. You cannot pull moisture out of a high-speed rail. I'm sorry to say that. It's not going to transport our water.
Well, and that's the other issue on the high-speed rail too. Is like during the campaign last fall when I was debating my my opponent, now Senator Rubio. And by the way, those of you during that campaign, Senator Rubio and I were always cordial to each other. We could say hi to each other, but when it came to the issues, boy, we were breaking each other's jaws. And this was one of them. Is I told a couple of talk show hosts, I says, look, I says, give me something I can put my hands around, like the fact that maybe it'll pay for itself. And we're not seeing any of that. And in the meantime, like you said, we're just not getting the, we're needing water infrastructure bad, desperately. We have 160% snowpack situation this year, and that most of that water, a lot of that water is just not going to be utilized.
No, and we're taking funds, from the federal government, and we got to match it. So where are we going to take the money in California? We got an economic problem in this state tremendously. So to match those federal funds, we're going to have to take money from education, from police and sheriff. We're going to have to raid our city coffers. We're going to have to raid the county coffers. Now, this county, of course, is putting $25 million into a maintenance yard for the high-speed rail when we have a lot of bridges that need repairs and our roads in our own county. And we're not even looking at that. And I'm disappointed in that process. And it was never designed, Measure C was never designed to be used for a high-speed rail. If we needed some rail infrastructure in our city for BNF or UP, great. But not to build a maintenance yard. So I am greatly concerned the way that we're going about this is that they've evaded the public process. They really have, and I'm disappointed in the rail authority. They say they meet with us, but they don't give answers. So,
that's always going to be a big problem here. Is to try to straighten this budget out and to really get where we need to be and chewing up farmland and there was something else I want you to touch on it here before we go close up the program manual. Some more government at work, like on a 180 alignment going out to I-5. It's more of the same here.
yeah, it's sad to see that. Today I got a map that I set down with Caltrans, and leaving out of Fresno going west, the proposal is to go again not on the existing 180 corridor all the way through, but because there's some concerns in Kerman, and the Caltrans want to move it to the north side of 180, going through a lot of farmland, which could be in essence of around 5,000 acres could be damaged. But again, creating a whole new separate corridor, cutting up farmland, destroying farmland, including even dairies. I don't know where these folks are coming from.
Yeah, this is absolutely unbelievable. Mike, how much more time do we have?
About 1 minute.
About 1 minute. Okay, folks, Manuel, stay with me here.
You got it.
While we're closing this thing up. Next week, we have a barn burner of a show for you also. We have Dr. John Welty from Fresno State University. Judy Case, Supervisor, District 4. I think we'll have something to talk about there. And but Judy's a good friend, and we're really going to get an overview from that side there. And then John Capal from the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. So this is going to be a show that's going to have a mix of things. And remember, for all your real estate needs, it's Tim Thiessen at timthiessen.com. And we're also on Facebook, and you can follow the program and my real estate business and farming interests there also. Coming up is Chuck Leonard. And if any of you see Mrs. Thiessen this afternoon or talk to her on the phone, tell her I'll be home at 7 and tell her to please bring bread. We're out. So until next week, have a great week, and we'll see you, and keep working hard, and we are going to prosper together in the San Joaquin Valley. Thanks.